You know, a large part of the process of awakening, of course, is working on what needs to be healed inside of us. You know, the facing of our shadows. But equally, it's the process of awakening is cultivating these higher aspects of the soul. So, like, we burn the candle from both ends. You know, that's maybe a metaphor some of us have heard before. Burning the candle from both ends. Fire is it's one of the main elements that the alchemists used. And when we burn the candle from both ends, that means the deep part of us that needs to transform, you know, the base metals of our being, the things inside that still need to be lit up, the shadows, right? But we burn it from the other side too. We burn it like the phosphorescence flare of our higher self. We spark that awake. That's the whole being experience, right? Let's really understand how this happens, and the reason for the process is, you know, think of burning the candle from both ends. And what is the candle? The candle is our spine. The candle is our central channel, the being inside of us that we generate kundalini, we generate fire inside that builds charge. Builds charge. That means like we're electromagnetic beings. As we build charge, that's why we breathe intensely. We like that literally magnetizes energy and vitality and clarity within our nervous system. We're building the charge in our energy body, in our psyche, in our whole being. And then what we can do is we direct that laser coherence. Now we have that charge. We can then direct that. We can focus our clarity on the places inside of us that are out of phase, right? That's where we can look at, where am I not living from my soul potential, right? And that's where I'm going to see where I'm running old programs. That's where I'm going to see where my fears are not allowing the, you know, the full electromagnetic energy to come through us. We look at things at a scientific level. I love to do that, right? Like it is a physics of evolution. Soul evolution is, we could even see it from a multidimensional physics where we're lighting up increasingly these energy fields inside of us. And so this is where, even, you know, in the collective oracle world, we're going to do techniques together. We're gonna channel like how our fierce love and our intuitive guidance can come online inside, so that we can courageously, systematically, you know, like transmute these lower forces and activate the higher forces. So this is the experience of joining in true contact and contract, our sacred contracts, you know, with the other master beings. I think that's why my words just slipped right there. And that's also the consent, right? Where are our sacred contracts, you know, with these other master beings, the ascended ones, the other guardians that are ethereal, non-corporal beings who are kind of holding the outer circumference of the dojo and the temple of what's happening here for us, Earthside. You know, like we're coming into deeper contact and contract with those beings, and this transmutation process that we are doing together is bringing forth our spiritual realization of who we are in context with these other beings I know we all work with many beings. And part of what we're going to do in this session is to meet the beings that are kind of overlighting collective oracles. I'm going to get into that a little later, but I want to just kind of finish up with why we're doing the work that then become that, like, these transmutation practices. Even now, how we're feeling, what we're doing, we're upgrading our frequency. That this is a tantra. This is a tantra of being a full-bodied being that is moving this dragon energy through us of the earth energies to meet these energies of kind of the winged one within us, those beings. And we're in a tantric rapport and rapture that engages our whole being. That's how the evolutionary force of creation will, in a sense, entrain us to become individuated fractal units of God, basically. All right, I'm getting really esoteric. I hope you can feel what's behind the words if you're not understanding all my words. But anyway, I think it's why we incarnated into an earth body, right? It has to, like, consciousness has to anchor all the way through the body to make real-time changes, right, in the software. The software then gets anchored into the hardware of this earth, this flesh and bones, this genetic architecture of our being. And that's the process, like, of what I think of as the Celtic knot that braids the energies, that weaving them together. And that's the alchemical process of dissolving so that we can be reformed. This is continually happening in our life, right? Dissolving and then being reformed at a higher level, increasingly refined level. And that practice doesn't end, you know, thinking of it like, are we ever going to get there? It's like, where is there? Do we ever reach the goal, you know? And I'm going to bring a context in right now that kind of broadens the scope of the idea of getting there, and then where we've been, and then that means who we are. So I want to reframe our life and our purpose from the context of the divine human perspective. And this is something that I talk about in my Divine Human Blueprint course manual. So go and check that out on my website, divineblueprint.com. But this is what I want to say. So and this reframing process of understanding who you are in context to the whole will be the medicine that carries you through in times where you're like so in your own human stuff, you know, you're the myopicness of who am I? What am I doing? And like, not when you're not feeling, you know, your fullness. That what you can do even in that moment is what I'm going to offer right now. Think about understanding that from the evolutionary human perspective, the genetic mind of the species, that we are the crest of a 13 billion year journey, or however long creation has been going. We are literally the I don't want to say the culmination, because we're not it hasn't culminated yet, and it, you know, maybe it never will, but we are the cresting wave of that. We're the fractal, you know, diamond cutter tip that's penetrating into form, the experiment of God, of this divine project called creation. Feel how that is who we are. That's who you are. Just hold that for a moment. This is the evolutionary eyes of perfection, to see even how the species, even if we look and we go, wow, this species is so infantile. But that's just one, that's one perspective. We can look out and go, we are a mess. There's so many forces, dark forces, whatever. But look from these evolutionary eyes, beloved. We're the crest of a 13 billion year project. And from that place, we're unpacking something together. We're unpacking inside of us. We're revealing and making more available what we're encoded to be, designed to do, that's bigger than us. And when we get into that kind of feeling of who we are, wow, all I can say is wow right now. And that expands, dilates us open. That expands our state of consciousness to then allow that energy through.